Hello again. Today I'm going to go into the new release from Select called Footy Stars Prestige, just because it's a new release, new footy release, and also because there's a bit of controversy surrounding it, so I kind of want to dig into that and see what people think. But I think it's actually a very strong set for its price point, and that's why these controversies have begun, like people scalping or people selling it immediately for much higher. So firstly, I'm just going to go into what the set includes and like some estimated values of what boxes may be worth. That tries to explain why people can just buy it for $140 retail and then just double it straight away or something like that. But overall, even though that some people think that this is going to push people away from the hobby because it's more expensive to get boxes or it's hard to get boxes, I think other industries have shown, like the shoe resale game or like NBA, NFL cards, once box prices start going up, it actually brings more people to the hobby. And as they become hard to get, they become more sought after once demand kind of outdoes supply. So I think although some people may be annoyed, and that's completely fair enough that they don't get an opportunity to get the product, I think overall it's actually a very positive thing, and it's awesome that footy cards are selling out in 2021. It's a really good sign for the market, and I think this is going to push through all footy cards from like the older ones, the real old ones, up to the new ones. Because if people can't get this one, the money's going to flow into different product, which is really positive. Anyway, I thought I'd just run through what's included in the box and why it's a strong product for its price point. So first of all, we've got the orange. Sorry if it's a bit glary. I can't really get the lighting right, but we've got orange. The orange parallels, they were really popular last year, or that style of card, which had the orange and the greens, were like super sought after. But I think for these like lower end releases, this is what they do. They're just going to reprint into oblivion. As long as demand stays high, which it's not slowing down at all, they're just going to keep reprinting these cards. So if you're looking for like a long-term investment, I definitely wouldn't look for boxes like these, because for example, people were paying huge amounts for the Dustin Martin green parallel last year, but they've just gone ahead and completely reprinted it. So demand has stayed about the same, or maybe a bit higher, but supply has doubled. So you'd think that the prices are probably going to halve or close to that, which is unfortunate for the people holding the cards, but it's kind of the risk you take with these newer, more lower end releases. But we've got the orange parallel, and that's numbered out at 210. And I don't know if people know expected value or have tried to work it out before, but it's pretty much the odds of you getting a card times by the average price of that card, and then that equals the expected value for that card within the set or the box. So pretty much you get 4 orange parallels within one box, and because you've got people like Dusty and Dangerfield in those, that are really going to bring the average price up. But you also got a lot of kind of nobodies, which will sell for next to nothing. So I think I haven't done in-depth research, but the formulas do it. So you got 4 each box, so you got 4 times if you want to do it properly, you'd plus every single value of every single card in the set. So you got like 100 for the Dustin Martin, say 30 for the Dangerfield. These are just random numbers, and then plus, some people's might be worth $2 and then some others might be 15, yada yada. Obviously it's extremely time consuming. You wouldn't do this for every card, but if you wanted to do it properly, this is what you do. And then you divide it by the number of cards in the set, which is like 160 or whatever it is. So that will give you your expected value or your average price for the red parallel. I'm just going to assume it's about $10 this year. So I'm going to assume it's about $10. I think that's a reasonable assumption when you take into both high-end and low-end players. And then you times that by the 4, because you have 4 each box, 10. So each box, you're going to get $40 worth of the red parallels or the orange parallels. And I'm not going to do this for every card, but it's a really good way of, if you're deciding between buying between boxes, or you're trying to work out whether it's worth buying into a box. I would do a very basic one of these, and you always use conservative figures because prices do go up and down, so you don't want to be caught using the absolute top. You can't just say, oh, I think Dusty's going to be $300 because possible if you land as jumper number or something, but yeah, I wouldn't use that figure in your calculations. So we've got 40 for these. The blue, this is a new parallel which is actually going to be hugely popular, I think. It's going to be priced probably even higher than the 125 number suggests. You get 2.4 of these a box if you do the calculations. So do 2.4. I'd say on average it's going to be about a $30 card maybe. So 2.4, let's just say $70. Oh, that should be equals. So $70 for the blue. And then you got the green. These are the super sought after ones, but like I said, they're just going to keep printing these until people lose interest. So I wouldn't see these as a long-term investment. But for now, obviously, if you want to flip, it's a huge flipping opportunity for people. I'm not going to do it myself because I don't really believe in these cards, or I don't really want them. So I feel like it's wrong of me just to purchase them just to try and flip. And it's a lot of work as well, packaging and sending out cards. But if people put their mind to it and really just want to make a quick buck, there's definitely an opportunity to do it. So you get 1 and 1/8 green per box if you do the calculations, and then let's say $60 because the Dusty's going to be super high. So 1.18 times 60, let's just say that's about $75. Oh, let's just say $70. So 70, 70, 40, and that's just for the coloured parallels. So you can see if the box is $140 and you're getting 70 for these on average, and 70 for these, and 40 for these, you're already up. I mean, that's $180 already. So assuming these prices hold up, these are kind of just estimates based on prior years, but these are quite conservative as well. So you've already made your money back just on the coloured parallels. And then you got the clearance kings, that's out of 120, you get 1 per box. The thing about these, I don't think overall every card will be worth a lot of money, but you have to factor in the possibility of getting a Dusty. I mean, his cards go for so much that they bring the average price up extremely significantly. So when you're doing these calculations, you kind of have to put in the Dusty factor at the moment. So this is just a complete guess, but let's be ultra conservative. $50 for these. Let's just say $40 actually, just to be super conservative. And then you got the Brownlow leaders, once again, Dusty factor. Let's just say $60, slightly rarer than the ones above. And the predictor, the Platinum predictor, well, this is an extreme Dusty factor, isn't it? But you get one of these every 4 boxes. Let's just say $100. Of course, with these, you don't add $100 to your expected value of the box because you only get 1/4 chance of getting one. So you actually have to take this 100 times by a quarter, 1.25. So expect value is about 25. And that's the same for this one. For the Brownlow leaders, you only get half. You only have 1 in 2 chance of getting these per box. So the EV is actually $30 for those. For the clearance kings, it's 1 in 1. So it's the full $40. And the marquee, well, these are actually out of 40, and I made a video before saying it's quite ridiculous the prices the previous marquees went for, and I think that's going to be looked at even more ridiculously because now the good players have marquees, so they're going to go for a lot of money, and it's really going to drive down the price of the previous ones, except maybe Richmond, because Dusty's going to go so high, maybe people are going to see that and go, well, I can't afford that, maybe I'll just get the Shy Bolton. And I think the Shy Bolton actually might go up a bit because of that. But let's just say an average marquee, let's say $500. It might be a bit lower, but let's just say the average price you'll get for a marquee, because they're top players, is $500. 1 in 12 chance, so that's about $40, roughly. I'm not even going to include the game breakers in the commons because they're not hugely profitable, and you could probably sell the Richmond game breaker for a few bucks, but it's not really even worth doing those in-depth calculations. You can do them yourself if you really wanted to do a spot-on expected value calculation, but you also have to take into account the packaging costs, postage, your time and effort doing it. So yeah, if you're looking from a purely monetary standpoint, you have to look at these things as well. But if you just take into what we've just calculated, that's 40, 70, that's 180, 220, 250, 275, 315. So we're saying just from the inserts, that's $315 of expected value at the moment for these Footy Stars Prestige boxes. And that's why they're flippable, because it's one thing scalping if people were scalping them, but the expected value was about $100 a box. That's when you say, oh, they're really price gouging, like pushing out the people who just want to collect and want to break boxes. But the thing is, the expected value is about $300 at the moment. So if they were selling him, if you resold him for $140, you're just giving away a free $150 pretty much. Like, I don't expect these prices, because people are going to realize that they're getting abundant, and long term the prices are going to really fall on this, and it's going to go back to that kind of retail price. But at the moment, if you're looking for a quick flip, like, you can't blame people. That you could easily double your money. Like, even if you don't sell the box itself, even if you just break, if you had access to say like 50 boxes and you just break them, you could pretty much double up on every single box on average. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy thing. Very strong release by Select, and yeah, I don't think they necessarily had to put so much value in the box, because it's really hyped at the moment. So it was probably going to sell out either way. But now there's value in the box as well. It's going to be extremely sought after. So that's pretty much my explanation of the flipping side of it, and why people are flipping and why people can flip. Because you can't really be too mad at them, because yeah, like I said, they'd just be giving away money if they were to sell it at retail. So it's really a tough one, and like I said, I wouldn't do it myself, because I don't think it's necessarily morally right, and I wouldn't feel comfortable posting on a Facebook group or putting on eBay a box that I just bought for double. But I think this will become very normal in the future. Just like I said, in shoes and shoe releases, they might double in the same day, and people have got used to it. People were angry a few years ago when that was happening, but nowadays people just don't really care. It's just how it is, and I think it's going to get this way with footy cards as well. But now we've talked about the flipping side of it, I just want to talk about the long-term investing as well. And like I said, they're going to print all these to oblivion. Like, you can reprint every single one of these cards, and every time they reprint it, it's going to halve in price pretty much. So in the long term, I would expect this $315 EV we calculated to go down significantly, to really, really fall. And I wouldn't be holding on to them. If I had them right now, I'd either be busting them or I'd be selling them, because yeah, in the long term, I don't think the money's there. But the interesting thing that I think is, because I think the boxes will sit around this $315 mark at the moment, surely that just pushes people towards the better older releases. I mean, if you are paying $300 for a Footy Stars 2021 Prestige, surely you'd rather buy a $280 box for 2005 Dynasty and crack that, especially for these people who are true collectors kind of thing, who just love to crack AFL boxes and collect AFL cards. Surely you'd prefer doing it to the more important releases rather than this, especially because long term, I think those important releases are actually going to hold up, because at the end of the day, you can reprint this, you can reprint every single card in this set for forever, but you can't reprint rookie cards. They're probably the only thing that you can't reprint. The one thing you can't reprint as well is the Brownlow predictors. So say you got a Dusty and he wins the Brownlow, of course that's just significant in this year because he won the Brownlow. So I can see that actually, like, long term being okay. But the problem is it's a big risk. You'd probably be better off putting them, instead of buying the predictor card, you'd probably be better off taking Dusty at 5-1 on Sportsbet, putting a few hundred in that, and then if he wins, then you'll have money to buy the card anyway. So that's my thoughts on predictors. It's a real gamble. But yeah, I think that might be all I have to say right now. If I missed anything, I'll probably put in a small other clip just to explain some things I wanted to talk about. But I'd like to hear everyone's thoughts. I think I won't be buying it, but I think it's a really good value if you can get your hands on it. And yeah, good luck to everyone cracking their boxes at the moment. See you next time.